Fellas, I'm going to reveal the truth of how you actually make any woman obsessed with you. And what you have to understand is, fellas, it doesn't come down to money. It doesn't come down to looks. It comes down to something we call seductive charm. Now, I'm going to break this whole concept down to you. I'm going to explain the science, the psychology of it, so that you're going to get a deep understanding of how you actually do this. Right? This is some no bullshit shit. This is the truth. This is how you do it. If you pay attention to any video today, if you make notes on any video today, please make it this one, because this will change how you perceive women, how you perceive dating, how you perceive attraction, how you perceive relationships. It should also make it clear to you why you may have failed in the past, why women may have left you in the past, why women have lost interest in you in the past. I promise, once you understand this, it will change the way you see things. This is so important. Right. Fellas, how you make a woman become obsessed with you, right? It's not money, it's not looks. It's called seductive charm, right? Before I break this whole thing down to you, I just want to explain the difference between, in my opinion, I've done this for a very long time, what truly separates the men who women love to be around, right? Quote unquote alpha males, and the men that women just tolerate, right? That they're like, they're indifferent towards. They don't really give a shit. They don't respect them. They're not doing anything special to please them. They're not chasing them, right? And this is what is commonly referred to as a quote unquote beta male. Let me just quickly describe the differences. An alpha male, right? Women will love you for you, not for what you have. They will just love being around you, right? The way you make them feel. They just want you. They don't want your money. They don't want your resources. They don't want your connections. They have no ulterior motive. They literally just want to be around you for how you make them feel. Whereas fellas, on the other side, right, if we look at the beta male, right, women can't love them for them. They can't. A woman, this is a truth. This is something you can take to the bank, right? A woman cannot fall in love with a beta male. They can't do it, right? They only want what you have, right? Your money, your connections, your resources, or they might just be putting up with you, right? They might just be waiting for the alpha male ex-boyfriend to hit them up. You might just be a replacement, right? Like a rebound guy. They have to be in a relationship, so they're going to tolerate you, they're going to be with you, but they won't really want you. They'll have an ulterior motive, right? They're going to be constantly looking for your replacement. So you're never safe. They're always looking to replace your bitch ass. Always. Whereas on the other side, fellas, when you're an alpha male, right, as I define it, right, they want you for you, and they're going to pursue you, they're going to obsess over you, and they will love you. Whereas on the other side, fellas, if you're a beta male, women will just tolerate you, right? They'll put up with you until they find a better option. Then they'll replace you and leave you in a fucking click of a finger. Now, fellas, the difference between an alpha male and a beta male, right? It's not money, it's not looks, it's not any of that bullshit, right? And in a minute, I'm going to explain why these things are important and why people think, oh yeah, money's so important, looks are so important. I'm going to explain that, right? You're going to see how this all clicks together. Right? It all comes down to how you make her feel. That is all that matters. How you make her feel. And fellas, then you have to take a step back and say, okay, so I know that the only thing a woman cares about is how you make her feel. Right? That's how you make a woman fall in love with you, is by making her feel a certain way. Well, of course, how the fuck do you make her feel the right way? Right? What way do I need to make her feel? That's where we enter something called seductive charm. Seductive charm, fellas, is the optimum way to behave to make a woman fall in love with you. If you use seductive charm, if you have what I call, and if you ever hear anyone on the internet say seductive charm, they've copied me. Right, I invented this after years of studying this shit, after years of mentoring men. This is the optimum way to behave to make a woman, feel the right way, and then hence fall in love with you. Right, your personality, and any man can do this, whether you're short, tall, ugly, good looking, rich, poor, live in a penthouse, live in a fucking flat. Doesn't matter about that stuff. If you have this, none of that stuff matters. Now, you might be thinking, well, Force, why does every single dating guru, why does everyone say looks matter, money matters? Why? Now, fellas, these things, just on their own, yes, they matter a little bit. But the reason that good-looking men or rich men tend to be more successful with women, right, is not because of these things alone. Yes, they matter a little bit. Yes, they matter a little bit. But the reason they matter is because men who are good-looking, men who are wealthy, right, they tend to behave in a way that is more close to seductive charm. They tend to have the behaviors of seductive charm, right? For example, if a man was just good looking, a man was just rich, but he didn't behave in the way of seductive charm, he'd get zero results. And I can tell you this, because I've been both of these things and got none. Zero, right? Zero. Literally fucking zero. I've been in the top 0.1% of earners for my age, and I've been... Just take this how I mean it. Being quite good looking, right? 6'4", muscular, good facial, all of that bullshit. And I still got fucking zero. Also, I've had clients who have been both of these things, right? Far richer than me, far more intelligent than me, far more good looking than me. And they've still got fucking zero. Why? Because they didn't have seductive charm. That's why you've got a really good looking friend who gets fucking zero, right? That he doesn't have seductive charm. Now, like I said, fellas, men, you might have the popular guy in the school, the American quarterback or some shit, right? He's like, why does he get all the girls, right? Because he has one of these things, right? He has looks, money, status, right? And then he'll behave in this way, right? He'll use these behaviors. Now, seductive charm, fellas, like I said, this is the optimum way to behave to make a woman feel the way you need to make her feel to make her fall in love with you, right? Women, what you have to understand is, fellas, women can't fall in love with a man. They only fall in love with the way a man makes them feel. This is why, fellas, when that guy stops behaving in the way he was, right, he gets soft, he gets comfortable, he gets clingy, he gets needy, he gets insecure, right? He wants to spend all this time with her. He stops behaving in the way he did. That's when she falls out of love with him, right? Because she didn't fall in love with you. She fell in love with the way that you made her feel or how he made her feel. So as soon as he stops making her feel that way, she falls out of love. Oh, I no longer feel the same way about him. I just don't like him anymore. He just doesn't make me feel how he used to make me feel. And fellas, I know this is true, A, because I've had clients who experience this, and B, because I've lost women because I no longer make them feel the way I do, right? And fellas, I actually got this video idea from something that happened a few days ago to me, right, last week. And I was talking to some girl, and she was like, the only thing a man can offer me is the way he makes me feel. And in my head, I was like, okay, that's actually valid, right? Because obviously she doesn't know that I teach men this stuff, right? So I was sitting there thinking, 99% of what comes out of women's mouth when they say like, oh, I love when a man does this, I love when a man does this, I love when a man does this, 99% of that shit is bullshit, right? They have no idea what they want. But then every now and then, like the 1% of things they say is like, yeah, that's fucking valid. So when she said that, I was like, wow, you're actually a bit switched on. You actually know what you want, right? She knows that the only thing that a man can offer her is how you make her feel. That's what she was saying to me. She was like, Force, like you can like buy me all these things. And obviously, like I know this stuff, right? She doesn't know I know this stuff. Like you can buy me all these things. You can take me all over the world. You can spoil me. You can whatever you. But the only thing that matters to me is how you make me feel. And I was like, yeah, that's totally right. Now, let's get to this because I've just rambled for 10 minutes, but let me show you this, right? Now, the way you make a woman feel, right, in the way that is required for her to quote unquote fall in love, right, which basically means she's with you for you, not for what you have. She just loves being around you, right? That's what falling in love tactically translates to, right? So like I said, fellas, it comes down to something called seductive charm. Now, seductive charm, fellas, is a way of being, right? It's a way of behaving. It's fundamentally how you interact with a woman, right? It's how you interact, how you behave around her, right? Which then the way you interact with her, fellas, influences how you make her feel, right? Now, seductive charm, fellas, again, no one on the internet will go into this much detail, but communication, right? What is communication? Communication is simply the transference of information, right? Information from one human being to another human being. That's it, right? And this transference of information, fellas, often makes people feel emotions, right? Makes them feel a certain way. They have opinions, right? They have judgments, right? And then all of this information being transferred, right, eventually makes her feel a certain way about you. So then then if you boil it down to the fucking physics level, it's like, okay, then all we need to do is transfer certain pieces of information, right? i.e., communicate this, which will make her feel a certain way, right? A predictable way, which is then going to make her fall in love with us. That's it. It's not complicated, right? But no one else is willing to boil it down to the first principles, right? The actual physics level of this, right? That's all we have to do. Now, communication, what is it? Again, no one on the internet is going to simplify things this much and make it so tactical. They say, be confident, be masculine, be seductive. What the fuck does that mean? It means nothing. What is that going to change about the way you behave? Nothing, right? So, communication, what is it? There's only 3 ways, right, that you can communicate with another human being. There's only 3 things you can do. You can either use body language, right? Vocal tonality, so the way you speak, and then verbal communication, which is basically the words that come out of your mouth, right? That's it. There's nothing else you can do to transfer information from one human to another human. There is 0 other ways you can do it. 0. There's nothing else, right? All of these things are how people form a judgment of you. That's it. Obviously, from one human to another, right? I'm just saying when you're conversing. Okay? These are the only 3 things you can do. Now, it follows that seductive charm, fellas, is just certain body language, right? Certain vocal tonality and certain words. That's it. You have to get these things right. And if you do these things, then you will make her feel a certain way, right? Quote unquote love. Remember what I said, fellas. Love is just a feeling that you give her. That is nothing else. That's all love is. It's just a feeling that you give her, right? Which is a byproduct, right? Which is the output of how you behave, right? How you communicate with her. All of these things make her feel a certain way. And if you behave in the right way, if you do the right inputs, right, which is these 3 things, then you'll get the output, which is her falling in love with you, right? So, fellas, to reiterate, making a woman fall in love with you, making a woman obsessed with you, right? You cannot do it with looks. You cannot do it with money, right? It cannot physically happen. It just can't. The only way that you get this is by the way you make her feel. The emotions you trigger. That's what it comes down to, right? That's it. And like I explained earlier, fellas, the reason why people say these things matter, right? The thing is, fellas, everyone else, they just look at the surface level. They say, oh, good looking men, they're more good looking, so women like the way they look, right? They don't go to the actual fucking root cause of it, right? The fucking physics. They don't go to the surface. They don't go, they look at the surface, right? But they don't go any fucking deeper to find the real reason, right? The real reason, fellas, is men who are good looking, men who are rich, they tend to behave, they tend to communicate in a certain way that women find more attractive, right? That engage women emotions, right? They tend to be more confident, they have more swagger, they tend to act like a high-ranking man, right? Because they are, right? Which spikes her emotions, which makes her feel a certain way, which then makes her feel like she's in love, feel like she's obsessed. That's the key, fellas. How you make her feel. If you get this right, if you make her feel the right way, she will fall in love with you. Now, before we continue, right, fellas, for the first time in 3 fucking years, I have finally opened up a few more spots in my one-to-one mentorship program. Now, basically, fellas, you're going to have 24/7 unlimited on-demand access to me to ask me any question you want, to get any advice you want, to pick my brain on any topic. 24/7, right? This is the craziest shit ever. Why am I offering this? Why? Why am I torturing myself? Right, because I want to help a few of you out. If fellas, I am not going to try and convince you to apply. If you don't want to apply, please do me a favor and don't. It's a lot of work from me. But if you do want my help, if you really want to take this seriously, I will give everything I've got to help you win. That is a promise. That's why I'm offering this, because I genuinely want the best for you. I genuinely want you to be successful. So if you want to take this seriously, apply to my one-to-one mentorship, you will win. And if you don't, please, for the love of God, please don't apply. Please. It's a lot of work from me. Anyway, let's continue on the video. Okay, at a high level, fellas, I will describe the optimum way to behave to make a woman feel the right way, right? Obviously, seductive charm. But what is seductive charm? Well, fellas, at a high level, it's that cool, calm, laid back, charming, right? Confident, swagger, right? He's assertive, right? He's relaxed, he's unfazed, right? Ice cold, seductive, right? These are the high level traits of a man with seductive charm. When you behave in this way, right, that cool, calm, laid back, charming, suave, James Bond, confident, swagger, right? Assertive, right? Dominant, masculine, right? Certain, right? All of these traits, relaxed, unfazed, ice cold, seductive, right? Smooth, slow, controlled, all of these things, fellas, are how you is what describes a man with seductive charm. And when you behave in this way, that is how you make her feel the right way, to be obsessed with you, to fall in love with you. These traits. That's how you do it. Fellas, to reiterate, all that matters is how you make her feel. That is it. If you want a woman to fall in love with you, you just have to engage her emotions in the right way. You have to make her feel the right way. Fellas, I hope this concept, just understanding, right, the truth behind, like, what is it? Like, how do you actually make a woman into, how do you actually increase her attraction, right? How do you actually get her to fall in love with you? How do you make her obsessed with you? It comes down to this, right? How you make her feel. And now that you understand this, every piece of content you consume, every time you interact with a woman, that's what you should be thinking about, is how am I making her feel? Am I engaging her emotions? That's it. And you realize that to make a woman fall in love, it's not about money. It's not about looks. It's not about it's not what car you drive. It's not what job you have. It's not about how tall you are. It's about how you make her feel. Fellas, I hope you found this valuable. Again, this is more of a high level sort of knowledge piece where I'm giving you my knowledge. I'm showing you the truth of things, which no one else on the internet fucking does. They're like, all they do is like, say this pickup line, use this Tinder text message, send this text, do it Bullshit. None of that stuff will get you results. This is the sort of information on how you become a master at attracting women, seducing women, becoming the guy that people are like, how the fuck does he do it? Why do all the girls chase after him? This is the sort of stuff that will get you those results, right? Just ignore all the other bullshit that all the other fucking dating coaches post. It's all fucking bullshit. I'm telling you, I've been in this space for a while. I have seen it all. I know some of them. It's fucking bullshit. My stuff is what works. My stuff is the best on the internet. So if you want to win, fellas, pay attention to this. I will see you in the next video.